Morning all. This is a slightly different video. I wanted to talk about one of the best wildlife encounters I had of 2020 and how I felt at the time and what that sort of photography, wildlife photography, does for our sort of feelings of well-being really. So yeah, in this video we're going to talk about my experiences of wildlife photography, but also I think how generally wildlife photography is good for our mental health, you know. And you know, at the minute we're in the middle of a global pandemic. You know, everyone's stressed out, or there's lots of stress around, and I honestly believe that being outside, and not just being outside, but wildlife photography in particular, or photography, is really good to keep us sort of grounded and less stressed. And so, you know, this video starts with something that was great for me in 2020. I was up in the Cairngorms photographing mountain hares, and there was snow on all the tops of the mountains. It was a fantastic trip. It was before the first lockdown in the UK, so you know, little did we know what we had coming down the road, you know, in terms of this pandemic. And it was a fantastic trip. I photographed mountain hares, snow buntings, crested tits. It was a real sort of winter wonderland, and I absolutely loved it. But one of the best bits, no, not one of the best bits, the best bit of the whole trip was when I was up on the top of the mountains, right at the top in the snow. I had two friends with me, and we were photographing this mountain hare, and it was just there about, I don't know, 20-25 metres away, munching on a little bit of grass it could find in the snow, and generally it was chilled out. And we didn't move at all. We were really low down, not moving, respectful to the animals as usual. And suddenly this mountain hare looked up, it looked straight at us, and then it ran literally straight towards us, and it went from 0 miles per hour to sort of like, I don't know, they run about 40 miles an hour straight at us. And I honestly thought at one point this hare was going to leap into my lap, and then just as it got close to me, it just literally veered away and then ran up the mountain. And I got pictures of it coming towards me, so I think I got around about half a dozen shots of this mountain hare running straight towards the camera. But it wasn't just the photography, it was that sort of, you know, connection. This mountain hare was so close, and I know it wasn't stressed out by our presence. It just decided to go, you know. And when they run, wow, do they run, and what an experience. And it, even now, and that was over a year, well, just under a year ago, it still brings a smile to my face. And that's what wildlife photography does for us. I mean, photography in general, I think, has the same effect, but wildlife photography, that's what it can do for us. It gives us an experience, and it's one that I will never forget. So it made me think, actually, during these sort of stressful times, you know, is wildlife photography particularly good for our mental well-being? And I think yes, it definitely is, for a number of reasons. So I think the first reason is, we all know now, there's been loads of studies done, if you're outside in nature listening to the sound of the birds, and here I've got a little river in the background, so I can hear the water sort of tinkling over rocks or stones. I've got the birds singing away as well. It releases endorphins, and it makes us feel happy. So that's great. So we know for a fact that being outside makes us feel happier, and that's got to be a good thing, hasn't it? But I think photography takes us one step further, because not only are we outside enjoying ourselves, but you're also concentrating. And when you're doing wildlife photography in particular, you're really, really focused on getting that shot. And everything else in the world, all your troubles, all your worries, they just go away, because you're focused on that one moment. And it gives you that sort of laser clarity about what you're doing. And I think that's, again, really good for us, you know, as human beings, as people, because we forget about everything else that's going on, and we're just focused on that one moment. It's almost like a mindfulness, isn't it? Often sort of at the end of a shoot, I'll just stand around for a little while and just listen to the wildlife, you know, in the background, and have almost like a Zen moment. So I think it's brilliant for us. And then I think there's the added bonus, being photographers. When we get back home, we've got hopefully some great images to go through on the computer, and you know, again, you relive that moment, don't you? I mean, there's been times on a cold winter's afternoon where it's raining outside. I've got a few pictures up that I might have shot in the summer of maybe sort of dragonflies or butterflies, and I'll edit or re-edit some of those. And that picture takes me right back to that moment. I can almost feel the sun on my face. I can feel the slight breeze in the air, the sounds of the insects in the background. So I think, you know, photography and wildlife photography is an unbelievable tool for keeping us stress-free, or helping or reducing our stress levels, and being, you know, having better mental health. And I think that's, you know, all I really wanted to say in this very small mini vlog, really. I love being a wildlife photographer. Well, actually, I love all types of photography, but on this channel I'm tending to stick with wildlife because that seems to be what people want to watch on my channel. So I love wildlife photography. I also love landscape photography, but anything outside, and it takes me away from the rest of the world. And not that I want to be taken away from the rest of the world. Generally I'm sort of quite a happy person, you know, half cup full rather than half cup empty. And I'd say the most important thing in my life, well, not, I would say the most important thing in my life, is my family. I've got a, you know, marvellous wife and 2 fantastic grown-up children. But the next thing on that list for me is outside photography, being a wildlife and landscape photographer. But for the purposes of this vlog, a wildlife photographer, because it's not something I do now. Being a photographer is something I am, you know, it's part of my, almost like my DNA. And I think if you get into photography in a big way, I think we all become like that. And I think it's good for us, it's good for our mental health, it's good for our general lifestyle, and it's a fantastic thing to do. Being a wildlife photographer is a superb occupation, or a superb hobby. And yeah, so that's about it, really. I would say thanks very much for watching this video. I hope it's not been too sort of I don't know, poetic or preachy or anything like that. But yeah, I love being a photographer, and what I'll do is I'll put the pictures up. Obviously the mountain hare running towards me, I got about half a dozen shots, and it was, yeah, the best experience of 2020. But there's lots, isn't there? I mean, just getting outside and watching a sunrise, you know, maybe doing a time lapse of a sunrise, or listening to the birds, you know, in the trees, or water over rocks, or watching crashing waves, or even, you know, just staring into sort of into a bonfire. They're all great experiences that do us good, I think, you know. And the more often I can be outside in the field, you know, looking for wildlife, the happier I am, really. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this mini vlog. If you have enjoyed it, if you can give it a like, that would be great, because that always helps my channel. Now, the other thing is as well, if you've got any comments, you know, any sort of wildlife experiences that have brought a smile to your face, or maybe even changed your life completely, if you can put them in the comments section below, or you know, let me know how wildlife photography affects you personally and your mental well-being. That would be really brilliant. And then last but not least, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, if you can consider subscribing, that would be great. It's sort of, you know, more the merrier. It's lovely to sort of build this channel up, and, you know, hopefully build a community of photographers. So I'm going to have a cup of tea in the forest now. I might even have a quick snack, and then today I'm not doing any wildlife photography. I'm just going to have a wander around the forest and just enjoy it. So bye for now, guys, and I'll speak to you on my next video. Last but not least, guys, I just wanted to mention wildlife documentaries, and I think they're fantastic. Again, it's not the same as actually being out and watching wildlife, you know, sort of in location, in the flesh, so to speak. But again, it really makes me feel good, you know. I love watching a documentary. I mean, who doesn't like Attenborough? You know, unbelievably fantastic filming, beautiful light, awesome wildlife encounters. And I get a real buzz from watching an Attenborough show, you know. It's just fantastic. And it's the same as here in the UK. We've got a series just about to start called Winter Watch, and it's a series of programmes, different people around different parts of the UK, and they'll be filming wildlife, you know, winter wildlife, and it's almost like a wildlife soap opera. And again, I love that show. So, you know, we may not be able to get out always as much as we want, but I think watching a wildlife documentary is the next best thing, doesn't it? It certainly makes me feel happy, and again, it's great. It goes towards my, you know, my mental well-being, my happiness. And as I say, who doesn't like Attenborough? I've just watched an episode of, I think it's Perfect Planet, and it's stunning. I mean, the wildlife filming is just unbelievable. The lighting is unbelievable. This one was about weather, the storms and the time lapses, you know, it was just phenomenal. And you finish watching the program, you go, wow, how good was that? And I think, you know, the David Attenborough shows are literally, they're top rate, aren't they? They're the best wildlife programs in the world, I think, no question about that. But there's loads of great ones. So, you know, if we can't always get out and watch wildlife, maybe the weather's terrible and we can't get out, there's always a wildlife documentary, and I think, again, they have almost the same effect as actually going out to watch wildlife. Not as good, obviously, but pretty awesome, all, you know, nonetheless. So I'm absolutely going to stop rambling on now, and I'll say bye for now, guys, and I will speak to you on my, my next vlog.